enforcement is being rewarded by more grant money if they reach certain levels. So that's almost a sanction, not almost, it's a sanctioned ticket quota from the federal government to the states.
I've heard about the breathalyzer test and the blood test, but could you go into more detail on both those and also the road, you said a roadside and breath test? Could you explain each of those tests and you said they are required?
It's a point of contention, and again, we've got some documents on our site that it's really critical that we understand our rights for, particularly for a DUI stop, because the consequences are so severe and stick with you for a long time. Even on lawyers, traffic lawyers, there's a point of contention of what do you do when you're asked to give a blood sample or even take a breathalyzer. Well, first of all, breathalyzers are very inaccurate. We've challenged the results of those many times. Blood tests are more accurate, but talk about invasive, and police aren't trained medical technicians to draw blood. I'd be very concerned about that just from a safety standpoint. The thing to do, if you're going to refuse, what I would do, although it escalates things quite a bit, is if you run into one of these, say, no refusal or mandatory, or they say mandatory, I'd ask to see the court order. I would ask to be taken to a local hospital, to whatever test they're going to administer. I want to do it under controlled conditions, and I want to see the results. But some states don't give you any leeway at all. If you refuse and you're automatically guilty, as Jim talked about, and you get basically all the penalties associated with the DUI.
Any other questions? Rod? Just a second, Rod.
A couple years ago, I had an accident with my car, but I just nodded off and I don't know if it was a call. Well, the police stopped and I was honest with him. He did wearing a seatbelt, I sit down. So he got me $35 for being out of my lane of traffic, another $35 for reckless driving, and one for $10 for the seatbelt. But he didn't give me any paperwork or anything. I didn't think anything about it. About 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail from the courthouse saying I have $375 for the fines because I didn't pay these on time, and there's a contempt of court fees and everything added to these because I didn't pay them. But I didn't get any notification until then. You know what I mean?
He didn't give you anything at the
I
site.
see him now. He didn't pay paper or anything. So I didn't think anything about it. I said, well, I'll get it in the mail. You know, I'll pay it. That's all. But then 2 weeks later, so I got it 2 days after, 3 days after the court date when I should have been in court to pay him. But I guess up in the court it was like $75. But well, 10 to the $80 for that. But since I wasn't in court, then they had me for contempt when I was there. And then I get $375 for the same fine. Is this common? I mean, did anybody else ever have this happen? Because, you know, I would have paid the fine. I was guilty. I know. I'm not trying to say, you know, it was my fault. It was one car accident. I wasn't very upset with that. But I just, you know, I barely paid whatever the fine was. It just seems silly that I get the fines after I should have been court.
It doesn't strike me as common, and it's obviously one thing to know that if you're being charged with something, then ask about it when you're at the scene. You know, you should be getting paperwork, and in fact, although it costs more money, I'd probably try to get an attorney to help. And we have a number of attorneys listed on our website that might be available for something like that, and challenge, number one, the notice about the penalty was even after your scheduled court appearance, so how could you have been there?
But I'm hoping that's what's happening. You know what I mean? This is so shallow that you don't think about it, you know? You don't think about, oh, I don't have paperwork here.
Right.
You know, I just don't think about it. I never got a ticket before. So.
I would say that's pretty unusual. I think police officers are pretty well attuned to issuing tickets and having all the paperwork on the scene.
Okay, well.
Here's a question. In fact, going back further than my question, we've had a notorious, infamous case in Reading fairly recently, which was coined stop and swab, where roadblock pulled people over arbitrarily. Police pursued and they lost the case. However, going beyond that, periodically there's notices in the paper particularly holiday seasons, that there will be arbitrary DUI setups throughout the area. And they do catch people. I'm not saying they're not finding people that are DUI, but I keep thinking Fourth Amendment, right of travel, stopping me arbitrarily. I did nothing wrong. There could be a line of cars. I was waiting my turn. Are they denying me what should be my right, in your opinion?
Yeah, the Supreme Court has actually weighed in on certain types of roadblocks that they're unconstitutional. In fact, some states, I happen to live in one right now, Wisconsin, that doesn't allow roadblocks for that reason. But unfortunately, many states do allow roadblocks. And yeah, you're right. It does catch some people that probably shouldn't be on the road, and that's a good thing. But what it does do for the vast majority of people who are stopped at these is it creates an opportunity for manufacturing probable cause. Oh, you weren't wearing your seatbelt, that's a ticket. Or looking for, or asking you questions that might lead into, a violation of some sort. So, yeah, I think it's a violation of our rights to have, the only reason for a roadblock is if there's a hazard ahead. It's just a safety measure to alert motorists that there's something that they're approaching, whether it's, a landslide or whatever. There should be no other reason for a roadblock in our estimation.
Well, just arbitrarily, suppose I missed a flight because I was held up on a roadblock. Do I have a right? I suppose I have a right, but in a court, can I sue, for example, for the cost of my tickets for the flight because I was held up arbitrarily for a situation where I had no cause?
I bet not. I seriously doubt that we'll be able to recover anything by doing that. I'm not saying it's right, but I just don't think it's going to be able to recover anything.
Okay, one other small point. You mentioned cameras. Is this probably a state law that communities can arbitrarily decide to place cameras? Or if my community decides to place cameras and I'm opposed to it, I have to fight them at the ballot box, or I have to fight them in some other method that I'm opposed to?
PennDOT has some requirements for communities to justify putting cameras in place. We don't think they're adequate. But that's why the local advocacy that I talked about, the community uprisings basically, have been very effective in fighting cameras. Now, obviously, you don't want the cameras there to begin with, for the most part. But there are ways to defeat cameras. Another example, something we spent a lot of time on with red light cameras, we talk about, it's a game to some extent, is we have found several cities that shorten the yellow light cycle so that it's almost impossible, light turns from green to yellow, it's almost impossible to stop in time, so it's actually dangerous to slam on your brakes if you've got cars behind you. So you enter the intersection maybe on a fraction of after it turned red, and if there's a camera there, it just automatically creates tickets. You add half a second to the yellow light time, it cuts one city in California, actually several cities, it cut red light violations by 90%. Drivers aren't kamikaze. They're not trying to just, putting their safety, everybody's safety by rushing through red lights. Broadside accidents that we see that are so horrendous are usually an impaired driver, a distracted driver, and it's usually 2 or 3 seconds after the light turned red, when the cross traffic's already, just starting to enter. It's not these fractional things that make great tickets, but really don't do anything for safety. I'm careful, you're going to get me on my soapbox here about that.
One more question. You mentioned cameras, the two types of cameras, of course, the red light cameras and the cameras on the policemen. I'm not sure, maybe somebody in the audience knows about the cameras that the policemen wear on their person, but to me that could be helpful if you're stopped by an officer. It might be helpful to have a camera that it was recorded. And also, one question, do those cameras record sound and video, or is it just video?
Well, I believe it's sound and video, and actually that's a point I skipped over that I wanted to cover when talk about basic constitutional rights, one of the most basic rights in our justice system is the right to discovery. If you're charged with something, you should be able to ask the prosecution what evidence they have against you. In a traffic stop, that discovery would be, what notes did the officer take during the course of making your traffic stop? What did he observe? There might be something there that might help with your defense. The other thing, though, is the dash cam video, or the body camera that we were just talking about. Unfortunately, many states don't think that traffic violations rise to the level of a misdemeanor where you have the right to discovery. As far as we're concerned, you have the right to discovery for any charge against you. That's just the way our justice systems work. So if you can't get it through discovery, then that's, I think, what the public records request would be, is send them a request saying, I want to see the dash cam video or the body cam video of this particular incident. Might be rather surprising to find out.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, I'd like to make a statement, and Deb is my witness to this. I've obviously been pulled over a couple times in my vehicle, and I've always challenged what's going on. 2 years ago, Deb and I were in my truck on private property in the winter, and I did a slide, because she's from Florida, and I did a power slide on private property, and a cop pulls me over and proceeds to give me a ticket. So I challenged this. Went in front of the judge, said what I did, where I was at, private property, oh, well, okay, this is done. This officer left out of that room so mad in a huff, he spun his tires leaving the district justice office when I beat that ticket. But the reason I say this is I always challenge everything. I would be $35,000 poorer because the city of Reading came after me because I kind of get a loud mouth, and I had told the former mayor, who's now under criminal investigation, Glenn Spencer, that I will never pay one of your, damn fines in this city, because I didn't do anything. And it was, Don will tell you, and Sam, they had these unjust fines for if a dog pooped on your sidewalk on one of your properties, you had to clean it up or they give you a fine. And then if you didn't pay the fine, it became $1,000. So I had $35,000. So I went with my attorney, Deborah, to the city solicitor's office and said, well, okay, look, let's go there. We're going to take this up to the state Supreme Court if we have to. I'm going to challenge this on the Fourth Amendment because the whole idea was the city comes to you, gives you the fine. I have to pay it and appeal it back to the same codes department who gave me the fine and wait for them to give me a fair and just hearing. So there's no due process whatsoever. So I said, okay, well, we'll challenge this, we'll take it. And they knew that when I won, which I would have won, that I would teach everybody in the city how to do this. I would have big ads in the paper and say, here's a class on how to beat these people. So they actually forgave, the city solicitor had a stack of papers like this, 35 of them, $1,000 each, and just started, okay, we forgive this, okay, well, you know what, we forgive them all, just go away. So they dropped every one of them. But the only reason that happened is because I took the time to, actually challenge something that was unjust. Now, I have some friends who thought, oh, I don't really want the hassle. So one in particular owns a lot of property. I bet she's paid $10,000 by now in these fines that she really didn't have to, which you can't control somebody's dog pooping on your sidewalk, and then they come the next day and give you a fine because the dog pooped there. It's like you have to go and look at every property every day. So I'm not saying if you did something really bad, you should challenge it, but you did something that really isn't, warranting a fine, you should challenge it. And fortunately, every time I went to court, I have won. So, and the reason being, I actually know my rights and I stick to them. And more people should be like that. So, anyways, Gary, we thank you very much. Wonderful presentation. And we have a little bit extra time, so yes, thank you, Gary. Gary's going to get back if you have any questions for him or anything. I do suggest we all sign up. I will be joining your group, so stick around, please. And we're getting done a little early, and a lot of people aren't here because of what's going on tonight with the RNC and the convention and Trump and everything, and vacation time, plus it's ungodly hot out there, so maybe people are just staying in their air conditioning. If you remember last month, it was pretty warm in here. It's hit and miss in here whether the air conditioning is going to work, so maybe they thought it's going to be too hot there, so I'll stay home today. So we got a low turnout today. But what I'm asking you is, we seriously need help. We ask this all the time, okay? We have one of our, Jake does a lot for this organization, and it very well may be possible he's not going to do anything anymore. Anyways, everybody who comes to these meetings, there's something you can do. You might think you can't do anything. There is something you can do. We need somebody to write ads. It's really not hard to write an ad once a month for the meeting schedule for the next coming month. Especially if you got a computer. I stink on a computer. I hate computers. I would rather shoot the computer than work with it. You know, other people like Shirley, she's a computer nut. She used to send me about 200 emails a week, so I had to block Shirley from my computer because I couldn't get my other emails for business. So now she circumvents that and goes to Sam, and then Sam sends them to me. But anyways, no. I know, but seriously, we need help, folks. A lot of organizations like this are waning because people aren't stepping up to the plate. We're in a very serious situation in this country. You see what happened, and I've been saying this for a long time. You see what happened in Orlando. This is only the tip of the iceberg. And I'm saying this because I truly believe this. And anybody out there who doesn't know something's going on, you either got blinders or you're just immune to what's your surroundings. If you're watching all these Syrian refugees coming in, why aren't they families? It is men of fighting age. Now, did they just become refugees, not have any kids or wives? Do they don't care about them? Or is there a foreign army actually coming to our soil here that is just waiting for marching orders? I truly believe something major is going to happen. I don't believe this person sitting in the White House now, and I don't care who's listening. I've always advocated this. I don't believe he's looking out for the best interest of America. He promised fundamental change to America. He promised that America that we know after he's done will be way different than you grew up with. Is it not happening? Amen? No, they're not. It is up to we the people to do something. Whether that be throwing them out of office, whether that be showing up at their door. As Sam said with templates, you know, we got to show up there. Everybody can do some little part. This is what I'm saying. Everyone in this room can do some little part. You know, we need help. If organizations like this are going to survive, it's up to you people in the audience to do a little bit more instead of showing up once a month. And I'm not trying to point anybody out. We need help. You know, everybody's over. Sam and Linda, amen to them. They do so much, you know, and in a way I tell them I envy them. They're retired, but they're not retired. They still got their own business to worry about and stuff. They just have a little more time. And Sam, I think, is up in the middle of the night on his computer because I see the time some of the stuff comes. I'm asleep. You know, 9:30 at night, I'm looking at my eyelids. They will tell you I sit on the chair. I'm out, you know. And we're busy every day, so we don't have a lot of time. So I'm pleading. I am seriously pleading. We need some help. If you can do anything, research. Keep up on the meeting notices. There's something you can do. See Linda, please. There is something you can do.
I'm here to help.
Want to wrestle for it? No. No, but you know, we've got a battle coming our way, folks. I think after this person leaves office in January, we didn't even begin to see the tip of the iceberg of the ramifications of what is going to happen in this country. I love this country. I've got kids. I've got grandkids. You've all got kids, grandkids, you know. The days of my youth, I'm younger than most of you here, but still, you know, we used to be able to leave I don't think we had keys to our house, and the car keys were in the car all the time. If you wanted to take our car, it was sitting in the driveway at 204 Shockley Drive in Exeter Township, and as far as I know, there was never any keys to the house, because it was open my whole life. You know, those days are gone. I fear for what's happening for the next generation. You know, I praise God, my daughter, who's 18 now, has a child. She got it. She did this thesis in school, and she calls up Deb and I, and she says, Dad, she says, guess what? I said, I don't know. What? She She said, well, I had to do this test in school, and I'm a conservative. I'm like, oh my God, something I said to you actually sunk in.